Hey everybody, what's going on? It's Patrick here. So in this video, I'm gonna be talking about my best advice when it comes to being successful as a SDR, BDR, sales development rep, business development, whatever you wanna call it. It's an entry-level salesperson. Why I'm making this video is because I know a lot of you guys are starting your sales career and primarily your job is to do sales prospecting, which is to generate leads. And a lot of people always ask me questions, when you actually get the job, what is it that you need to learn or do to actually become successful and advance in your career, right? Whether you want to just move up the ladder, become an account executive, make more money, whatever the case is, I'm gonna be sharing with you my best tips on exactly how you can do that. So if you're ready for this video, make sure to give it a like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and let's go ahead and dive on in. So the first tip I have for you is you wanna learn copywriting. If you're doing sales prospecting, a lot of times you're writing a lot of emails, a lot of LinkedIn messages, right? The lazy people, what they're gonna do is they're gonna say, hey manager, can you send me a template that you guys use? And the manager will say, okay, sure, Patrick, here's the template. And this literally happened to me when I worked at Oracle. I asked around, I said like, hey guys, what are you guys sending? What's the email? People were like, oh, I got this magic email template that everyone's using and it just works. And then they gave me the template, copied it like pretty much exactly, changed the product name and stuff like that, sent it out to 20 people, it didn't work. I do a little more research and I find out that not a lot of people were being honest with me on the success rate of their emails. So what I did was I started to learn copywriting. Now, copywriting, it's directly related to sales, but not a lot of people don't think of it that way. So copywriting is a specific skill on how to sell using words, specifically writing words, right? When you're a sales development rep, actually a lot of the job is selling over messages and like email and LinkedIn messages and things like that. So you gotta study copywriting. So how I did it was I read books on David Ogilvy, which is an advertising legend who was really big into copywriting. These are the kind of guys from like the 1930s or whatever. They would send mail to everyone and then people would send money through the mail and to get a certain product or service, right? Yeah, even though it was like, I don't know, 70 or more than 70 years ago, like the foundations of copywriting are still there. It's just persuading with words. Now, after I learned from David Ogilvy, I read this thing called The Boron Letters from Gary Halbert. And actually, it really changed my perspective on what copywriting was, because writing persuasively is not about using the fanciest words or having these crazy complex sentence structures and trying to do all these crazy things. Instead, the goal of copywriting is to get the person to read the first line. The goal of the first line is to get the person to read the second line. The goal of the second line is to get the person to read the third, and so on. So if you think about how people, they just read line by line. So as if your sentences are engaging enough that everybody wants to read line after line after line, next thing you know, they read the whole email all the way to the end, and then the call to action is, hey, if you want to learn more, schedule a time to talk on my calendar. And that's the magic of it, right? You don't need to make it complicated. You don't need to learn all these fancy techniques. You just need to write clearly, persuasively, keep it simple, and have a call to action at the end, right? And so, if you're looking to learn copywriting and specifically for cold email, you could watch some of my videos to kind of get the vibe. But if you want to learn like true copywriting, you got to study the experts. And so David Ogilvy is someone that I took inspiration from, and Gary Halbert is someone I really took inspiration from. So I would definitely check out The Boron Letters by Gary Halbert if you're looking to learn more on copywriting. The next thing you got to learn if you want to be a sales development rep and succeed in the job is actually cold calling, right? Because you actually don't need to learn how to pitch quite yet or like do a formal presentation. You need to learn how to talk to people, call them up randomly, and have a nice conversation with them for 5 minutes to set up the next appointment. So you don't have to learn all the nuances of selling. You only need to nail the first like 5 to 10 second interactions. And that's really honing down on your sales script. So if you watch some of my cold call videos, a lot of times I'm just saying like, hey John, how's it going? This is Patrick from Oracle. How you doing today? And then John will say, oh, I'm doing pretty good. What is this about? And then I go into my script, right? It actually doesn't matter what you say, it's how you say it. The magic of it is mastering the tonality and saying it in a way where someone will actually want to listen to you. So if you try some of these cold calling techniques and it just doesn't work, you need to really reflect back on how you sound. And how you do that is you record your cold calls, listen back to it, and think to yourself, if I got that cold call, would I actually want to respond? Would I actually want to continue talking to this guy? If not, then the problem is your tonality. So mastering cold calling is all about tonality. I would say it's 70% tonality, 30% script, because I could give the perfect script to anybody, but it doesn't mean they're going to be successful in sales. If I find someone who has just amazing tonality, they know how to sound, how it influences other people, I can get this person, put them on the phone with no script, and they can sell something. So it's not about the script. The script is just to give you a guideline to kind of get started, but to win in cold calling, it's all about tonality. I think of the voice as an instrument. You can control how you sound, and how you sound influences other people's perception of you. So some people think that, oh, Patrick's being fake because that's not how he really sounds. How do we really sound? Is that something that we can decide how we sound, right? Because we're all born a certain way with a certain voice, yes, but how we use it is a little different. It's like saying we're all born with a body, but some people want to go to the gym and be fit. Some people want to just eat a bunch of chips and candy and then get fat. Everybody's born with something, but how you use it is more important. And some people, maybe your voice is not pleasant, just how you were just raised and born, and maybe you have an accent and things like that. Okay, but what are you doing to improve it, right? What are the things that you can take inspiration from to change the way you sound? Maybe to make it more pleasant, more peaceful, more attractive, whatever it is you want to do. What are you doing to improve it? That's really the game, right? Because if you focus on those first 10 seconds and mastering your tonality, well, selling just literally becomes so much more easier. And so that's a very important tip for you guys. So the final step of the process, it's not going to be technique. It's more about building relationships internally at your company, right? So if you're watching this video, you are probably a sales or business development rep generating leads, and you're probably working at a company. And you got to understand that if you are working at a company, it's all company politics. The larger the company, the more company politics there are. All right, I'll share with you my experience when I worked at Oracle. When I worked at Oracle, I started as an account executive rep that also had to do sales prospecting, right? So it's like a hybrid role. What I did was I made sure that I had a good relationship with my manager. I had a good relationship with all my peers, other people that I sell with. I had a good relationship with just people that worked around the office. I knew that the director, so the manager's boss knew who I was. My manager's boss's boss's boss knew who I was. And my manager's boss's 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 boss also knew who I was, and they had a positive perception of me. Meaning that if all these people like me as a person and they know I'm hitting my numbers, well, anytime there's an opportunity for advancement, who do you think they're gonna look at to consider filling that spot with? Or if there's an opportunity to lead a team, or there's an opportunity to speak and share my knowledge and build more credibility at a company, who do you think they will choose to take that spot? The person that they know, the person that they trust, the person that gets results, right? So it's all internal politics. Now, if nobody likes you and you hit all your numbers, it's like, okay, this guy can make money, but we're not gonna hire him to be the sales manager because he's not good with people. If you're hitting your numbers, but they don't like you, they'll say, that guy's really good at hitting his numbers, but this other guy, not as good, but he's easier to work with, so I'm gonna hire him. It's just like, do people like you within the company? And I know a lot of people, they don't like playing that game because they feel like they gotta kiss ass to the boss, they gotta kiss ass to whoever. But the reality is, it's not being fake, it's just being a good person overall. Because I never felt like do anything I didn't want to do to earn the position I did when I was working at Oracle. It was just like, I had a mission. I wanted to be great at sales. I wanted to be someone that people could work with easily, and I wanted to get results. If you come in with that mentality and you actually do what you say you will do, everybody will want to work with you. And so wherever you're working, whatever country you're working in, it's all the same game. Do people like you internally? Do you do your job and you do a good job and you get results? And can you be better than your peers? Because in a big company, there may be 10 other people competing for the same spot when it comes to advancement. How do you make sure that's you? You got to let your manager know that's your goal. You got to hit all your numbers so there's no excuse to why you shouldn't be able to advance. And you need to show that you're a better candidate than other people. There's two ways to be successful, right? One is metaphorically, if there's a bunch of buildings. If you want to be the tallest building, you could tear every other building down to end up the tallest, which I would not recommend, but I know in some cultures, that's what they do. The other way to do it, which I recommend, is build the tallest building. Be the best, because when you're the best, it's undeniable. You don't need to tear anyone down. You don't need to do anything you don't want to do. And that really just comes down to how hard you work, how much you reflect on becoming a better salesperson, your attitude, and like how easy you are to work with. And if you do all those things, then the next step for advancement becomes super simple. And so with that said, I hope you guys learned something in this video, and I hope you guys enjoyed me sharing my personal experiences. If you enjoyed it, make sure to give it a like, subscribe, turn on notifications. And with that said, that's everything we got to cover, and I'll see you guys in the next one.